Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Four races remain in Season 6 of the ARA Porsche Cup Championship. We have two at Imola next week, but tonight we visit the Nürburgring. Not the Nordschleife, not even the GP layout, but the Sprintstrecke, an 11-corner circuit that will test the driver's precision more than any other on the calendar. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside myself is Austin Knight. Lewis Ward is bringing you this stream on our YouTube channel this evening. And Austin, we saw an absolutely crazy race at Watkins Glen for some good reasons and some bad reasons. The race starts for the bad reasons. The race finishes, though, we're full of action and full of very high quality racing as well. But we visit to a circuit which is pretty much a polar opposite. Last time it was high speed stuff. Tonight it's slow speed corner after slow speed corner.
Yeah, the sprint layout here at the Nürburgring is always going to be a very interesting aspect. Now, these Porsche Cup cars, if they run in the VLN series or the Nürburgring Endurance Championship series, as it is called on iRacing, they'll be well known to this track besides that final chicane. But the sprint layout, you know, we don't go into the deeper bowels of the GP layout with that famous turn 8. And the Schumacher S's is going to be that Mercedes hairpin, the Mercedes arena, and then this very tight hairpin, kind of like what we saw at the Red Bull Ring, where we use that sprint layout and continuing on to the rest of the Nürburgring GP layout with that very final chicane as well. I'm expecting the chicane, the first hairpin, and the second hairpin to be the big three spots that we should be watching out today.
Yeah, that little cut through, which I think could be a real action point tonight, is Kurzanbingen is the name of that corner. Of course, normally it is not a corner, so I'm sure that's a word that no one has ever heard before, unless you're a proper big fan of this circuit. But yeah, Kurzanbingen is the big change on this layout, and as you were saying, Austin, missing out many of the iconic parts of this circuit, those couple of S's, and the Dunlop hairpin as well. The drivers are currently just entering a 10-minute qualifying session. And, well, there was a little bit of a change up in the championship last week, where we had quite a change for position. In fact, Michael Yanni, heading into the previous round of the championship, had been leading every round of the season. However, there has been a change for that lead in the previous round. Mads Johansson, for the first time, his Apex Racing Academy teammate, now leading the way ahead of Yanni and Christiansen and Penn and Gerdiel. How do you think that's going to change their driving, Austin, for both Johansson and Yanni? The fact that there's now been a change at the top of the standings? think we may have lost Austin for a second there.
I've done the button thing again.
Oh dear.
I've hit the button to go get a drink. Yeah. But yeah, last week when we were watching the two Apex Racing Academy teammates, looked like they were helping each other to catch Matt's at the very front. What happened is they started fighting with each other. So I'm guessing teamwork is going to go out the window between these two, and it's going to be an all-out fight for the championship. And I'm not going to say that either of them, if they continue to fight like this, there might be another leader at the end of this championship if they continue to fight really hard against each other.
Yeah, it could be problematic. That's how close it is at the moment. 2 points is the difference between Johansson and Yanni. And then, like I said, Christiansen, who was able to cut the deficit, but it wasn't a perfect round for the defending champion himself last time out. Leon Penn and Sergio Gurdio were really struggling actually last time out. Lona managed to get the double race win, but I think he missed a round earlier on in the season, and with no drop scores, he's just been playing catch-up, otherwise he'd be right there.
Also, I don't think Michael Yanni is in the session today. No, there he is. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, he hasn't set
my heart jumped up into my chest, but no, his first qualifying lap did not go through. So Michael Yanni on the back foot already, just like this qualifying difficulties at Red Bull Ring, where he couldn't get the first qualifying lap in, and then in the second lap, he had the same problem. But yeah, 2 points separates Johansson and Yanni at the top of the board. Roger Christensen just 40 points behind them in third, followed by Leon Penn and Sergio in fourth. Moritz Lahner, he's been pulling off some great victories here, as though he was not in the first few rounds of the championship, so no drop rounds are going to be counted for him. So he's just trying to look for a top 5 and continue this great run that he's had.
Yeah, we've also got the Pro-Am and the Am Championships as well. There's the Pro-Am Maya a while ahead of Vangen, Alzugare, Parker, Torp, Hammer, Lang, Kuenza, and Baron's such a high quality top 10. That's absolutely unreal. Baron's been so good in the GT3 trophy so far this season. Hasn't quite had the form in this championship, however. And then in the amateur category, that is also probably the most one-sided championship so far. Taras has been absolutely phenomenal. He's always mixing
nearly
up with
100
the pros.
points ahead.
Yeah, ahead of Koopmans has been good, but has had some bad luck recently. And Borkland and Horg as well was also strong last time out. But yeah, struggling to get onto paper. Taras has been superb this season, and Dassley will not just be a Pro-Am next season, but a Pro. So we are heading to the end of qualifying, and just a few more drivers have got lap times to complete. Michael Yanni, you were saying Austin had his first lap invalidated. However, he was able to improve on that second lap, moved up into second place, still behind Moritz Lohner, who's been on a terrific run of form. Kuenza now moves up into P9 as well. That's pretty much everyone, bar Muldercleave and Lang, I believe, have now set their times.
Yeah, Gardasab, Borklund, Nold, and Ryan Epringham are not getting onto the track. I believe they are serving a penalty as we ride on board of Carl Herzog as he hops over the curves and heads into the final corner, no longer named Coca-Cola corner. So, and it looks like he's picked up a off track or something, and that is going to be his qualifying session right there. This is Lucas Lang coming out of turn 1 and entering turn 2. And, a lot of people say the Mercedes Arena is their least favorite part of the Nürburgring. I don't know where they get that complaint from. Maybe it's just because the track is very slick, cold tires, it's very easy to spin out around there, but it provides a great show and a great opportunity for overtakes, especially if you're stuck onto the outside of a car going down to your inside. You have 2 corners to be onto the inside of the car that try to go onto the inside of you. And if you manage to stay alongside him, you can really make that work out. Great battles happen through there. I'm guessing it's just so slick that not a lot of people like it.
Definitely, yeah, I think that's a very good point. We're just going to take a slight moment just to fix a little issue on our end. But we'll be back with you for the start of race 1. welcome back. Apologies for that little bit of a pause, but didn't miss too much. Just Lucas Lang's final couple of corners. And there were clearly a couple of very good corners. He manages to move up into 20th position, does the Pro-Am driver. That is some gap though for Lona, 0.3 of a second clear of the rest of the field. I'm fairly certain the biggest gap we've had all season, Austin. And yeah, I mean, it's just a shame that he missed the first round of the championship. Otherwise, he'd be absolutely in the box office right now, because he's actually scored the most amount of points in 2 of the 3 meetings that he's attended this season.
Yeah, Launer has been a very consistently high-scoring finisher, and you shouldn't be surprised if you know of his prestige in racing around iRacing and in real life. But it is Maurice Launer on pole position in that 111 door esports car ahead of Michael Yanni, trying to take back his championship lead ahead of Andreas Meyer, Tim Yarshell, Mads Johansson, Sergio Gurdel, Leon Penn, and Kim Andre Strom. Matteo Kunzer in 9th place, followed by Bogdan Madovan, Thomas Wangen, and Glenn Key in 12th place. And behind them, it is Roger Christensen, Carl Frederick Herzog, Philip Hammer, Victor Taras, once again on pole of the amateur race, ahead of Harold Joatas and Niels Erik Isaacson and Emil Koopmans. Lucas Slang and Joshua Alcazar right behind him, followed by Luka Domko, Noah Chilia, and Gordon Hall. Simon Mokadev, Nicholas Nold, Joe Verga-Gotterstad, and Kim Andre Borklin, followed by Ryan Emperham at the end of our 29-car grid.
Yes, and there's still a lot of cars to get through that first hairpin. Expect to see 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide. It's a classic sort of fanning out corner, is that one. And also the exit of that turn 1, Austin. We so often see drivers kind of run wide, desperate try to get back onto circuit and kind of rejoin a little bit unsafely. So I hope we all get through that first corner safely, because after that it does kind of help itself go into double file for the rest of the first sector.
Yeah, and this opening is going to be very crazy. You can go 4 wide here heading into the airport. It's strongly suggested not to, but some of these drivers, they just want to go. And I feel like we might be seeing a very crazy start, especially in the midfield of drivers who did not get in a good qualifying lap or not, because there's some pros down there that are looking very feisty in the field of Pro-Ams as well. And then there are some drivers that have pit lane starts, but we're going to find out right now. It's 5 green lights as we are green, green, green here at Nürburgring for the second to last round of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. As you can see, Michael Yanni attacking down towards the inside right there, taking all the way down to that inside, going over the curb. We got a crash already. 1 car is spun around. It's one of the Apex Racing Academy cars, and it's our championship leader, Mads Johansson.
Oh, you got a tap from behind heading into turn 1. Maybe you should have left more space. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that one post-race. But Lona did a brilliant job of being able to hang on to that position. Good start for Josh Shell as well. I think it may have been Strom or Moldovan who made that contact down into turn 1. And there could be a big change for the championship as it's 3 wide for the lead. That is absolutely mega. The teammates being able to lock out the entire circuit. Now just keep this up, boys, for the rest of the race, because no one's going to be able to pass you. Yanni down into 3rd position, which was looking very unlikely after the first corner. However, the teammates, if anything, tripping up one another a little bit. And it's Yanni who's got the much better line, coming out to Varsteiner curve and onto this longest straight of the track. Joshua and Lona going alongside once again. But Yanni, is he able to do anything? No, he's not. There's just not enough space. Now they've got to be very careful of the teammates.
Watch Yanni
managing to get ahead now as the race leader. Yanni is now paying all his attention to Meyer, who might be able to get past.
Meyer had a much better run than Yanni coming off the exit, because Yanni, he tried to cut off the corner and get alongside of Launer. Launer, though, he had to leave space for him off the exit, and he just really cut off a lot of his speed, and that's allowed Meyer to try to take a look down towards the inside. Yanni looked down towards the inside, heading into turn 1, as we got a big look from the 155, looking all the way down low and making it move. That was a send and a half by the 155 of Sergio. Sergio, we haven't seen like that from Sergio all the way since Silverstone. That was mega right there.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep track of everything right now, but that was absolutely incredible down into turn 1. If you're not overtaking that, you are being overtaken. because the track does widen so much and it is such a big braking area in these Cup cars. As for once, we don't have too wide heading into one of the corners. Curzon Bington for the second time this evening, and Herzog a little bit out of position there, the pro driver down in 16th place. So Joshua managed to get ahead in all of that. I wasn't quite sure he managed to get ahead through the chicane, but it was Joshua. So one of the starts of the season, maybe one of the starts of the year. He's up 3 places, managed to get past Lona, Yanni and Maya, and all of them were mega overtakes. So Jarshell up into the lead, and this is looking extremely strong for Door Esports. And at the moment, at least Yanni not with much of a response, as here comes Johansson on the comeback trail. Remember, it's a reverse grid of 10 for race 2. So if he can get into the top 10, Austin, then you know he might have a chance, but that's going to be across the chicane. He's spinning, and he's going to get slowed down.
Oh, that car he's just been having such a worse time. He's been getting slowdowns. He's got damage on the front of his car and on the rear of the car, as Tom Swing is starting to slow down penalty as well. Just trying to cut too much of that chicane, and that's going to be a big point as well here today of cars serving slowdown penalties. They deal in the brakes. Glenn Key being under pressure by Sergio Slangen again, going pretty slow, as that was Sergio trying to go for a switchback move in the hairpin, which is a move that we haven't really seen a lot, as Joshua Agzari, who has had a mega start, up 8 spots since the start so far, looking for number 9. As they both go down towards the inside, looking for that hairpin. It's just too far away to go, and that entry to that hairpin is so tight. It's so small.
Yeah, and we've seen a few moves into there, mainly on lap 1, albeit I'm sure a few drivers are going to be trying it as well. Oh, Chila makes contact right there. That was into Taras, our championship leader in the ads. It shouldn't be too costly for the championship. It'll be costly for this race today. He'd already lost the race lead, I believe, because Koopmans was up in 17th position. But that is not what he wanted. And now we've got a couple of the WS racing drivers. In fact, they've got 3 in a row. One's a little bit further up the track right now. That is now getting past Isaacson, who is struggling quite a bit. Isaacson winning, I believe, yesterday, or scoring the most points of anyone yesterday in the GT3 trophy. Not having hit his way so far tonight. He was 3 seconds off the pace that last time, and I think having a slowdown or some kind of...
Yeah, I think the slowdown really hurt them right there, but that contact with Victor Taras, oh, that is just so unlucky. But Victor Taras not going to be shaking his head mostly at that, because of his near 100-point championship lead heading into today. So, you know, he's feeling good about that. He knows he's quick around here. He's going to be looking to regain that spot, because he had a similar incident like this at Watkins Glen last week, where he went to regain the lead of the race even after being in that massive wreck in one of the 2 races. As this is a beautiful move by Mateo Kunzer down towards the inside, holding it onto the inside of Algazarian, able to keep it at the front of this train.
Yeah, that was a good couple of moves there from Kuenza. It's now 4 places from his race start, but managed to put the move right there on Alzigari.
I think it was Mateo that made contact with Mads Johansson at the front.
Was it? I think there was a bit too much of a gap, but you might be right. I can't remember where Johansson started. As we got right side by side for the lead, Lona versus Jarshell, and Jarshell is holding on to that one now. Guys, who's the faster driver, and let them go ahead. This would be a good result for Door Esports, but they are coming door to door right there, and that could have been a lot worse. And look at Yanni, he's right back into play, and we learned from race 1, you know, if you can get your car into a good position, then you can very much make an overtake around this part of the circuit.
It's just so tight and tricky. You have no real opportunities to pull away from the car behind you, especially in this very competitive field. And with Tim Jarshell, you got one of the best drivers in the world right behind you with Moritz Lahner right there, and Michael Yanni, who has the fastest lap of the race. So you're going to be defending most of the time, and you're probably going to be thinking that Michael Yanni is going to try to make an overtake on your teammate to allow you to pull away. So this is kind of Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton-esque in 2016 in that finale. As you can see, Jarshell, wanted to go down towards the inside for defense. Launer wanted to look down towards the inside for an attack. They both decided not to, heading into that chicane, as most of their attacks are going to be happening into the hairpin. So let's ride out board aboard Launer down this long front straightaway and see which strategy are they going to go. You see a little hit of oversteer off the exit by Launer, as it is time for a drag race here, as the German here at his home track, they all look down towards the inside. That's a late look for Launer as he gets onto the brakes. He's allowed the gap right there by Yarshel, but like I said, Yarshel's going to have the advantage of the double left-handers, and down the inside is able to regain that spot. And Launer, he could make a dive down there, but Yarshel defended that very perfectly. Just slowly went over to the left to cover off Launer and stay in the lead. But this fighting is allowing Yanni and Meyer, Andreas Meyer is there in 4th place to stay with this pack of 4. That is about a second, 1.7 seconds too strong in 5th place. So top 4 in their own little world right now.
Yeah, remember, Meyer has already won a race so far this season, one back at Red Bull Ring race 2. On that occasion, it was the top 2 hitting each other on the last lap, which gave him the advantage, but he hasn't been this competitive in a race 1 all season long. And it's quite clear as well, Joshua and Lona, I think they can get away with not winning this race. They're not in the championship, and this is almost sparring with one another, preparing for stats. So they'll be in the same Discord. They're not going to do anything too silly, but they will be willing to go for a move. And that was a little bit of a late move there from Joshua. Lona trying to gut the inside. Yanni just does not have the pace to keep right on the tail of these guys. He's not taking advantage of their slight outside lines. As here comes Lona, he's going to have to go all the way around the outside in order to make this one move. He's going to try to squeeze his teammate slightly to the inside. Now he opens up the corner, and it is Joshua versus Lona side by side into turn 1. Is Joshua able to get stopped? No, he is not. Lona's going to go wide, and Yanni is going to also pull alongside. It should be upper hand to our former race leader. It is, and our championship leader has to wait in behind a bit of another a defensive move there from Joshua to hold on to 2nd position, and it's Lona who now leads the way, and he has looked like the fastest driver so far tonight, Austin.
What Jarshell tried to do, he was defending out to the inside, and he wanted to outbrake himself and purposely go wide to set himself up on the left side, but Launer, he knew exactly what he was going to do, and so he just took the very wide route and then just cut it down towards the inside, and it just nailed that corner perfectly. And Michael Yanni, he was trying to take it a little bit of advantage, but it was caught out by Yarshell beyond that outside line, so Yarshell didn't lose 2 spots right there. Only lost 1, thought proactively about it. It's still a Door Esports 1-2, but Yanni and Meyer, they're probably just like nippy at the heels of these two and wanted a little bit more action, as this is a very good opportunity for Yarshell. Launer very slow over these curbs, and here comes Yarshell and Yanni once more.
Yeah, and well, I don't think Yarshell is quite as close as what Lona was on the previous lap, but well, he can certainly go for the dive. If he wants to go for it, he can go for it, but how confident does he need to go for the move? And there goes Yanni. He knows that the 2nd place man is going to be slow on the brakes because he's trying to not run into the back of his teammate, and that was a very smart move there from Yanni to try to cut them off. As here comes Joshua, he's offline once again, desperately sort of not trying to necessarily overtake his teammate here, but tries to keep Yanni behind, but it might turn into an overtake because he's got the inside for turn 4 right here. It's almost contact. There's a huge slide, both of them sliding. Yanni tries to get to the inside, but the track is too narrow right there, and it is Joshua who still holds on to 2nd position. But none of these guys, even around this very tight twisty circuit, can pull away from one another.
Yanni giving the bumper to Yarshell right ahead of him. He desperately wants to get past to get into 2nd place. And what we just saw in the Mercedes hairpin as Yanni looks down towards the inside, heading into that long back straightaway, leading into that chicane that we've been seeing so many mistakes through. Yanni was boxed in by the 2 teammates who were focused on fighting each other. They realized Yanni was right there, so they stopped fighting each other and we just witnessed that teamwork play into their hands as they decided to let bygones be bygones, and just take it to Michael Yanni and just defend very well. And that was one man trying to climb over the Great Wall of China right there and have no luck whatsoever.
Yeah, he's looking a bit more competitive now, Yanni. I don't know what's happened to Joshua. Maybe just a couple of poor corners. I mean, he was leading only, well, about half a lap ago. But
he's
run wide again, and here comes Yanni. But it's almost a carbon copy. Yanni's a little bit further ahead this time.
Oh,
he got net code right there.
Yeah,
there was a big gap between the two cars. Yanni just really unlucky right there, and Maya will be able to move his way past. But Yanni's getting quite aggressive, considering that, of course, he'd like to win this championship. He's putting his nose in a lot of places, and Strom is also catching up to these guys, now only 2.3 seconds off the race lead. Just a reminder that Maya, our Pro-Am leader at the moment, our amateur leader is still Thomas Koopmans, who's ahead of the overall championship leader, Johansson, right now. There's also a good battle between Vangen and Hammer just going on for P11. Also Alzagari versus Halsel. So I've been a few other battles, but that front one certainly been the most intense so far in this race. And there's Hammer trying to chase down Vangen and try to take that second place in class. And yeah, it was Vangen who managed to make that move earlier on in this lap.
Yeah, Wangan had a very good move and able to get ahead of Philip Hammer, but that fight up front, Yanni, you did say he is looking a little bit more aggressive, and he certainly is. The way he's getting onto the brakes is a lot more sudden than everybody else is, and it looks like he's just getting a little bit more desperate, so he needs to take a little bit of a chill pill, or else he's going to be getting a slowdown penalty. But I think he's had a slowdown penalty, because look at the gap between Yanni and Meyer on the standings. It's gone up a little bit more, and he's almost cut the course on that hairpin. He's got to watch out, because if you do hit that grass on the inside, you'll be cutting the course and receive a penalty for that. But the gap at the front has kind of started to spread out. Now that the Door Esports 1-2 is starting to spread away, has stopped fighting with each other and focused on keeping it a 1-2.
Yeah, I think Lona's just got, now that the draft has been broken and the pressure's off Lona, I think he's got enough pace not to be re-caught by his teammate, as we see. A mistake from Johansson just a moment ago. He's really struggling with that car. In fact, actually, I think he has retired. Yeah, he's had enough of it, and he knows that he's not going to get to the top 10. Hopefully we see him in race 2, otherwise that will be his championship over. And frankly, the fact that he will not score points because he'll be more than 4 laps down on the race winner pretty much means that Yanni just needs to finish all these races to the end of the season, and the championship will most likely be his. So that is quite a change, and it's a shame, because it was looking like a really evenly matched championship between the two of them heading into this penultimate round of the season. So we see Isaacson still struggling a little bit out there in 23rd position. Just had another slowdown, I think, actually on that last lap. Did Isaacson fell behind both Domko and Godestad, who of course was runner-up last season, Godestad. So he is starting from the pit lane, I believe. That's why he's quite so far down. Albeit he has just got past Luca Domko out on circuit. And also Key managing to get past Moldovan. That is for P6, and Moldovan actually having a couple of issues up there, because he's also dropped behind Gurdiel for P7. Yeah,
Gurdestad coming out of that chicane, doing a very good job as we are looking up ahead. This is Modovan looking at Sergio and Key. Sergio looking down to the inside like always. With him always famous for his big sense. He already had one big cent here today. Looking for another coming out of the Mercedes Arena. Charging in on Key, looking down towards the inside, heading into that double hairpin. Not going to go for that move. He just took a big look, but that's brought out a mistake by Glenn Key. Glenn Key, middle of the corner, went a little bit wide, and here comes Sergio on the attack. Sergio just rounding off these corners, taking a much more diamond out approach to get that better exit. He is on a run right now, leading into this chicane. Sergio Gurnell of Obsidian racing the 155, looking for another dive, but this time it's going to be towards the outside, as that was well defended by Key, just keeping it down towards the middle of the track, and unable for Sergio to make a good move, but Key making a little bit of a mistake. The car got bouncy right there, and this is allowing Sergio to take a rounded off corner, the much more preferred line, and getting a better exit on Key as we go into the second half of this first race here at Nürburgring.
Yeah, and it's a much lower average speed than we had back at Watkins Glen. I feel like we were done with both races by this time at Watkins Glen. It was absolutely craziness. But yeah, this different layout, very much extending the race. Meeting contact behind from Moldovan, and he is round as Gurdiel. And fortunately for him, there isn't contact behind. However, he's dropped outside the top 10. So he will start in 11th position if it ends like this for Gurdiel. He needs to get back past Vangen and maybe past Penn as well in order to get that reverse grid front row. He's still got 10 laps to do it. I think he will be able to do it, but that is not what he needed. And that was Mortimer there. He was going for a little bit of a nothing move, I thought, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a second row dive on the lead cars, and he just got a nose in there, but that nose for that move was, like you said, a very nothing move, and Sergio would be very, very furious. Watch how far Madovan comes into this break, so very, 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 very far away, and just a little slight tap right there, especially on the apex of that corner. It's a very big drop-off in that corner, so any small tap you get right there will usually result in the car going around.
Yeah, and yeah, it wasn't a big tap, was it? I mean, I was half expecting him to be able to hold on to it, but you're right, that the car's just so unsettled right there. As here comes Nold, trying, oh, that's another half move. He's very fortunate there that Lang left space, as Mortimer has actually had to come into the pit lane, so he must have got hit in the rear tyre, I imagine, and got damaged. So apologies, no, he was the one who made one, so maybe a 4x, and maybe getting a drive-through penalty there, I imagine, for Mortimer. We'll see if he drives straight through, but yeah, meanwhile, Nold is, I feel like he's going to make this move on Lang eventually, but he's not fully committed to a move yet. That is a commitment move, however, and he is up to 18th position. Good work from him, and Mortimer, I think, has driven straight to the pit, so we'll double check about those incidents, but yeah, I believe he has just reached the incident limit, which is 17 for all these races, and then it's a further 8 after that.
Yeah, it was a drive-through penalty for Madovan. He just hopped into the pits, drove through 26 seconds in the pit lane, so that's a very big penalty that you definitely did not want to get, because now if you're in the lead and you pick up the incident limit, you'll be dropping all the way down to 20th, as our leaders are now resuming their fight with each other. Yarshel on the back of Launer once more through the chicane, and they are not joined by anyone else right behind him. And now we're going to get a Door Esports 1-2. Very entertaining fight here.
Yeah, they're in a league of their own tonight, aren't they? I mean, it's only 1.3 seconds. We should remember that. But like in this series, 1.3 seconds is quite a handy advantage, because you feel like when you're out in the lead in these types of races, you're not pushing it at 100%. As Isaacson was trying to come back against Domko there, but that chicane, in my opinion, it's a very poorly designed chicane. It's way too narrow for really any form of racing, and Isaacson felt the brunt of that. To Moldovan have to try to get back. Also, maybe Karma, I think, might be on side there for Gerdio, because of course he's now up into a reverse grid pole after that contact due to the drive-through, as Sheila is trying to defend against Nold still. So Nold continuing to move his way up, but Chila's dropping back a little bit. He's dropped back into the 3 cars behind him. Yeah,
Chila, they do have damage on the car, but they've been struggling and very under pressure, and he does have one of the Door Esports car right behind him, Nicholas Nold, and Nold looking around towards the outside. Defensive move by Sheila. Nold holding around the outside mid of the corner. He's got his nose still on the left side. Almost getting squeezed out there by Sheila, but now Nold's going to go down towards the inside on Sheila, and they're going to be side by side. Earlier, we saw Sheila lock up the brakes in this corner and hit the car on the outside. Victor Taras was the one that was affected right there, as the 223 gets all out into the grass right there, but Nold round the outside, able to make that move, and now defending down towards the inside, heading to chicane. Watch out right behind, because this might be a little bit of a train wreck, as Lucas Lang is caught up on towards the inside, and that's allowed Goddardstad to get past Sheila. Goddardstad's up into 19th. Well thought out by Goddardstad, seeing the two teammates going side by side, and just able to make the best of that chicane and get a spot from that as well. Up ahead, Herzog looking down towards the inside. That's a late break, and there's contact, unavoidable contact into the 245 of Haraldas Yatuas, but Haraldas able to keep it in line. He's just got a little bit of a paint scrape right there, as Herzog, he saw that he was going to make contact and didn't want to make it anymore, and darted across the track. That was a very dangerous dart, but it allowed them to not crash. But speaking of the crash, there's a crash right there. Dom goes around.
Oh, well, those two had already come closer to one another, hadn't they, in that time? Well, they've glided down the straight. It's a tricky one, that one. You take a very early turn in, you sort of brake at an angle going into the corner, almost jailbreak it into the apex. And well, one driver wants to do that. The other driver wanted to keep the braking straight and contact between the two of them. So Koopmans, I thought, was going to gain 3 places right there, as Gerdiel is past Vangen, so that was very easy. Gerdiel, of course, was further up the road earlier on.
I think led him by for 10th place.
I think that's part of it. I think even if that was for 11th, he'd be letting him go, if I'm honest, because he just knows that he's going to get past anyway.
Yeah, that chicane is very, very tight too. So even if you're in a complete nothing spot and you're fighting, and if you're on the inside, you will let the car ahead of you by, because you'll just get the draft down that straightaway and just look towards the inside and try to pressure him next lap. Not until it's the last lap do I think a move into the chicane is really worth it, because both of you really slow up each other. And what is going on right here? Philip Hammer getting the elbows out to Mateo Kunzer as they are side by side coming out the hairpin. I think they were just rubbing doors that entire corner.
Yeah, I think this one's getting personal. You can sometimes see when like battles are getting personal. I think that earlier one with Domko and Isaacson may have been the same. But yeah, the drivers just like start driving into one another down the straights and just not affording each other any space whatsoever. And I feel like this might be the case here. And if they go alongside again into the chicane, this could be very bad news. At least, well, at least if you don't want some entertainment, it's great news.
It's great for us.
Yeah, Kuenza, I think, is a little bit too far behind right now to go for a die. This would be absolutely manic if he went for this one. He's making his presence known, but yeah, he'll have to wait behind. Hammer on that last lap. So Hammer was slow on that last lap, so I think Kuenza is the faster driver, but not really much pressure this time round. As here comes Godestad past Lang, and Lang staying in there. Godestad's not going to be able to make the move. What can Chila do behind? Oh, Lang has a massive slide, and Chila is able to get back past his teammate, and now he's going to try to get past Godestad as well.
Now Chila with the better run of both of those. They were both battling through the chicane. Like I was saying earlier, if you battle through the chicane, you're going to get a worse exit. It's going to allow somebody else to make a surprise appearance, and that is Noah Chila right there. Chila could have an opportunity on Godestad. Looks down towards the inside, just trying to sell him the fake right there and try to make Godestad go into a panic, but the pro driver not falling into the panic trap of Noah Chila. But the WS Racing Esports Blue guys are really putting Godestad into a world of hurt as he's stuck down there in 18th. And as all of this is going on, this is a very entertaining fight. For 17th place, for 18th place, you gotta remember, it's very impressive, but we gotta fight for the lead as well as we enter the last 5 laps of this race 1 here at Nürburgring for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Esports Championship, Porsche Cup. I'm getting words confused here, but
yeah, I mean, I could see the stream being taken down right there, Austin, when you said that.
At least we're not at Chicago Road Course, okay?
Well, yeah, at least not that, yeah.
At least it's not by NBC.
Anyone who's just tuned in, by the way, they might be thinking, oh, okay, they're teammates, so they're not going to fight against one another. For the entirety of the first 10 laps, they were side by side with these two. So keep tuned. I mean, Joshua will go for a move. It's a little bit of a quiet spot right now. I mean, look at that. I mean, he's absolutely going for it. These guys aren't going for the championship. They can afford some content if they don't win this race. It's not the end of the world for them. And so they are, yeah, like I was saying earlier on, they are sparring against one another at the moment, practicing their racecraft for the Stats Day event. And I'm not sure who's going to come out on top, because whenever one seems to get a little bit faster, the other manages to respond very quickly. As Joshua now 0.24 seconds behind. I think he needs to be within 0.2 of a second heading on to this straight. And then, of course, you've got the NGK chicane up ahead. And Maya gradually closing in. Very slowly. I'm talking like, I think on average it's been about half a tenth a lap, or about 10 laps now, and just gradually getting that gap down. However, we have seen him be one of the more cautious front runners so far this season, so I doubt he's going to go for anything too ambitious. Maya, of course, the Pro-Am leader. Still Koopman's the leader of the AMs, and a long way clear as well of everyone else in the AMs. Great to see Koopman's after delivering a lot of pace in recent rounds, but just has not been able to put it down on paper every single round. This will probably move him up into 2nd position in the Amateur Championship in this day's race.
Yeah, it's a very solid position for Kubitz. He is miles ahead of the next car as the fight for the lead. It changes to Yarshell getting ahead of Launer, and Launer gets it right back. And here's Meyer joining the fray as well. And I think there might have been a contact, a little bit of mid-corner as gamesmanship for the teammates being played right there. I think there might have been a little bit of contact by Yarshell on Launer. Yarshell got ahead, and then he noticed that he made a little bit of contact. So let's watch Yarshell and Launer. Yarshell getting onto the bumper. Does he take a look down towards the inside? Does it get a little bit oh yeah, there was a missed braking point right there. Launer avoided it and was let by Yarshell. So the teammates, they're playing aggressive, but they're playing nice.
Yeah, if they weren't teammates, I think Yarshell would just take that one, because I don't think that was a slam dunk. I mean, you could argue he had the inside line all the way, and then he made the apex. Of course, Lerner had to take evasive action in order to avoid contact. But, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a slam dunk. It may have been a penalty, but the fact that they were teammates just made sense to reset and try again.
In technical sense, that was a dive bomb. He was more than a car length away heading into that break zone. Got a nose ahead, scared Launer, and made Launer go a little bit wide. But as our teammates, they're like, hey, can I have that position back? And I think Yarshell might have been like, that was a little bit naughty. You can have it back.
And now he's made a little bit of a mistake there, Yarshell. Getting trail braking, or certainly cutting off the braking area into turn 3 right there. And yeah, just that gap extending out a little bit, and with only 2 laps to go, they may not be time to come back in this one. By the way, quick shout out to Apex Racing Academy, one of the sponsors for this series. Apex Racing Academy offering every one of these drivers a 1-month free subscription. Massive thanks to them for that, and also the prizes that they are offering. And yeah, of course, Apex Racing Academy offering data packs for this car, along with many others, as we see the T-Pings come very close to one another. That was Mordecleve and Hawk. And yeah, Apex Racing Academy offering data packs for these cars, and also many others there. Coaching in particular by some of the best drivers in the world are extremely useful for improving your iRacing performance. So do check out apexracingac.com in order to get yourself a bronze, silver or gold membership. There we are heading on to the penultimate round of the championship. Penultimate lap of the race. There you go. Angus Christensen moves to
penultimate, everything.
I like that word.
It's a nice word. We ride on board of Glen Key. Attacking on Margaret Christensen, though, under pressure. And speaking of under pressure, Yarshell has went from 2nd place all the way to 4th. We'll look at that after this fight. Christensen defending on towards the inside. Key looking on to a switchback, but yeah, this is Tim Yarshell. Did he have another mistake heading into turn 1?
He's been pushing it on the brakes, hasn't he? He really pushes it on the brakes. Or was there contact behind from Meyer? No, he went wide. It wasn't necessarily wide.
The second time we've seen this.
Locked up the front.
Yeah, second time we've seen him struggle like this when it was Michael Yanni attacking him. But Yanni is now up in the 3rd. Yarshell falls down in the 4th. And Andres Meyer looking for his best finish in a race number 1 of 2nd place. The Pro-Am driver is putting all the work out there right now.
Oh, can Nold get this move done into Curzon Bingdon? Here he goes. He's going for the dive. No, it wasn't quite there. Oh, that was so close to her start. I think these guys have been close to one another for a while. Nod has been on the comeback trail. He's up 9 places from his race start. Godestad as well up 9. They both started from the pit lane, if I recall correctly. Asag would like to keep that 16th place overall. Koopman still top of the AMS once again. And yeah, Alzagari, the leader of this train, as we've got Meyer on the inside. I think Meyer, yeah, slow down penalty. He's down to 4th position, and it's Yanni who moves up into P2.
Well, 1-2. They started this race in 1 and 2, but that's not been either the story of this race. Moritz Launer's been battling with his teammate the entire time. Michael Yanni stuck behind both of the Door Esports cars. But at the end of this race, they start the very final lap in the same way that they started this race. What a storyline that this race has been so far. And Yarshell is back on the podium now.
Yep, and it's just incredible that Yanni was 4th place going into the final 2 laps, hasn't pulled off an overtake, and yet the other 2, after a very high quality race, it must be said, great action by these 4. But yeah, a couple of mistakes affording him that 2nd position. We did have cameras on that battle just outside the top 10. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes, as Godstad maybe wants to argue differently about that one, but stays in the same order at the moment. But here comes Lona. He's just approaching the final chicane, and this has been an absolutely brilliant drive from Maurice Lona. He managed to get the pole position. He lost the lead to his teammate on lap 1, but his race car was absolutely sublime. His pace was brilliant as well. And it will be the German at his home race, Moritz Lohner, who takes his 3rd race win in a row here at the Nürburgring. Yanni finishes in 2nd place. Joshua rounds out the podium. Meyer finishes top of the Pro-Ams. It will be Koopman's top of the AMs. I'm just saying if there's going to be any changes in that big bunch of cars just outside the top 10. Vangen is going to take reverse grid pole. That was looking quite comfortable for those final few laps. As Godstad, has he got past Herzog? He has, right at the final corner, it looks like. Herzog very slow across the line, and he will finish in 18th position. And Godstad, after an absolutely epic 16th place, both Nord and Godstad got past Herzog in those closing stages.
It looks like Herzog was out of fuel. His car nose was going up and down, and it looks like he was either out of fuel or he picked up a slowdown penalty in that final lap, and he's dropped down multiple spots. As this is Domko finishing in 24th. Simon Medokiev murdering a cone, as that's going to be a slowdown penalty and a good opportunity for his teammate Horog, but he's parked it up onto the exit. It's going to be a drag race by the teammates, battling each other over the line. These two have been having big scraps of each other, but it's Hog finishing in 25th, just around the outside of his teammate in the Sim Racing Norway 25th, 26th, and 27th. Ryan Empringham, not the best day for him. He had to start for the pit lane, and it's just been a down-and-out day for him today. But Johansson, our championship leader, was taken out on lap 1, and throughout mid of the race just got from bad to even worse. And he's going to be finishing at the very end of the grid, well, 12 laps down, so not even going to be able to score any points for that.
Yeah, it's really bad news for him right there, isn't it? So we will take a break now on Apex Racing TV whilst we wait for race 2 of the evening, but we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. We are at the penultimate round of the championship here at the Nürburgring Sprint Trek circuit, and we are preparing for our second race of the evening. And yes, that first race, a brilliant battle between the top 4 right there, Austin. Do we expect those same 4 drivers to make their way up to the front in this race too? I think Austin may be muted once again.
Yep, you're right.
Okay.
But yeah, second race is going to be underway very soon. And with our top 4 going to be reversed right now, I think it's going to be pretty spicy here. But our top 10 have been reversed. Thomas Wangen will be starting up on pole with Sergio right behind him in second place. So we saw them give each other the spots right there. So Thomas Wangen will be on pole. Sergio's on towards his inside, followed by Leon Penn, Glenn Key, Christensen, Strum, Meyer, Yarshel, Yanni, and Launer. Our top 10 reverse. The rest of the results are the finishing results. So are you expecting the top 10, the drivers in 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th to really go for these moves on this opening part of the lap?
Well, I think certainly Lona, Jarshel, Maya, they can all risk it. Well, maybe not Maya. Maya's usually quite cautious, isn't he? But I think Yanni might be a little bit cautious himself. But it'll be interesting. Look out for Penn. Not been particularly fast so far tonight, has been very quick this season. Hopefully he has a bit more pace in race 2, and maybe he could be a pick for this race 2 victory, as all the drivers bar Borkland near the back of the grid are onto the grid, including Johansson. Watch for him from last position. He could well be up in the top 5 by the end, as the lights are on, and away we go for race 2 of the evening. It's a fantastic start there for Leon Penn, who's going to be alongside for the lead immediately. Gurdiel did not get off the line well, and he's going to be swallowed up by the rest of the drivers, it looks like. Good defending right there from Bangen. He keeps the lead heading into turn 1 here at the Nürburgring. Strom getting past his teammate Christensen a bit. They are still alongside. Oh, now there's contact, and that is Key spinning round, and Strom as well, I think, was involved in that, but it was mainly Key who dropped many places. We've got 3 wide there heading into turn 3. Great awareness from a couple of drivers. Now it's 3 wide with a couple of different drivers getting involved. That's the RPC driver, I think, for Strom, who's continuing to drop down the order after that initial contact with Key just a moment ago. But it's Wangen leading the way. Penn up into 2nd position. Good start for Jarshel as well. He's up into 5th position, and of course he was leader for most of race 1, so maybe the favourite for the race win from this point onwards. That's a big move, I think, from Yanni, who's trying to get past, heading into a Varsteiner curve. Very ambitious there, but he just had to stay behind Meyer for a little bit longer.
Yeah, as they continue on, it's been an absolute mega start by Leon Penn off the line, jumping 1 car already. I thought he was going to go for the overall lead, but Wangen, the Pro-Am, leading out this race, is Sergio falling down to 3rd. This is Michael Yanni looking for 6th place right here, looking down towards the inside of Andreas Meyer. In that final corner, Meyer goes wide. I think Meyer might have picked up a slowdown penalty or just leaving all the room for Michael Yanni to make that move, but Yanni is now up into 6th, followed by Launer. Meyer falling down multiple spots. Yeah, Meyer does have a slowdown penalty, and he is being freight trained right now, falling all the way down to even more. Yeah, Cuenzer also having an issue as well, as they are 4 wide heading into turn 1. We got cars serving slowdown penalties, cars attacking, cars defending, and cars is trying to keep it clean heading into turn 1. It's chaos here at Nürburgring.
Yeah, our entire timing board is just all red right now. The drivers are so close to one another. There goes Moldovan, who had a miserable race 1 after looking strong, but he got too many incidents and had to serve a drive-through penalty. He's going the long way round there. Koopmans, who hasn't had a particularly good start, as that is Key off the circuit again. Man, it's been a tough race for the Racing Lab guys in this race 2 so far. A couple of spins for their drivers, as Isaacson still right in the mix of things. He is alongside with Donko. These 2 collided earlier on. It was Donko who came off worse. However, this time he is the driver ahead. But it's still Wangen leading the way, albeit it's very close for the race lead. Penn wants to get that lead right away, I think, and try to scamper away, because the longer he stays behind, the more time Jarshel has got to get through. And Jarshel has got past Christensen as well, I believe, on this lap, so he is making progress.
Jarshel and Christensen very attacking on each other, as Michael Yanni putting in even more moves. Christensen was his latest victory. He's got Launer on his inside. Yanni up into 5th place, putting in a great lap. Jarshel up ahead, putting in the new fastest lap of the race, as this is Launer looking to attack on Christensen. Big send by Launer right there. He's getting alongside of Christensen, but Christensen, can he hold around the outside to keep it on there? No, it's not. It's going to go to the way of Moritz Launer, as this is Mads Johansson. Oh, very rough day, as around is Cuenzer Mateo having another issue at turn 1.
I think they may have been linked. I'm not quite sure. There goes Johansson. That's a big dive on the 398 of Koopman so much later on the brakes. I mean, that's the move that we saw Josh L pull earlier on as Josh L's moved up into P2, actually past Penn, not at that corner, but at one of the later ones. Look at the wide line there for the race leader Vangen. Josh L is storming his way through. Surely it's just a matter of time until he takes this race lead.
Now Yarshel is hunting him down. We're going to go finding that replay of how Yarshel sent it in for second place. This is heading into the hairpin. So if you saw a confident, oh, that is much later. And that is finding the inside line. I couldn't even see if you can squeeze out an inside line of a dive right there. But Tim Yarshel has found it and has gotten into second place. And look at him straddling that outside curve to line himself up for the most wide line possible and get in the better line, weighing in under pressure. Here goes Tim Yarshel for the lead of the race. Drag racing down the front straightaway right here. They're side by side right now, and Tim Yarshel looking for the lead in this race. You can see in the background, Yanni looking on to Sergio right in the back, and here comes Leon Penn on Thomas Wagen. There's contact right behind. Yanni gets involved. Sergio got tagged the back end of Thomas Wagen. He got turned around. Sergio got into third after Yanni got tagged right there, and Yanni's got front nose damage, but Sergio is now up into third place.
Yeah, that was absolutely craziness there. Penn trying to take advantage of all of that as Yanni does eventually get past Gurdiel. And then, of course, they all got a little bit of contact. I'm not sure who came off worse. Hopefully, none of them have any steering damage. That would be really costly.
Yanni would have the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, it looked like a big hit.
It was a massive hit right there. Sergio was the one that hit winging around, which caused all that issue. Launer picking up damage as well, pretty much the same as Yanni has, but different side. But yeah, Yanni does have steering damage. If we go on board, you will be able to see the steering damage that Yanni does have.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think it might just be ARA.
It might just be Arrow. When they were going around that corner, though, that wheel was looking pretty odd.
Oh, Moldovan's had a problem. I think he's just cut the chicane as Moldovan.
I think
he's going up and down. There he is.
Yeah. Well, he went on a League One tour right there.
You might get an answer. Oh, man. This is Johansson and Moldovan skipping across the grass. Does he hit anyone else?
Oh, luckily he did.
Wow. So
almost 2 hits.
I think that was Lang who just missed the chicane because he was like, nah, I'm not getting involved in that. Had the peripheral vision of an owl and managed to avoid it. Brilliant job there, because I think he would have been hit. So, I mean, that should be some sort of award in itself. Maybe we should get like that cricket prediction Hawkeye in order to see what would have happened. As here comes Lona, he is past Gurdiel, so Gurdiel continues to drop down. Lona should have a fairly clean car. He's got a bit of bonus damage. As yeah, Christensen's going to go for it as well. Gurdiel was similar pace to Christensen earlier on. So this is a proper tight fight, unlike some of the other cars which have got past Gurdiel, and that is just being shown right here because Gurdiel able to fight back, and now it's Strom, the other IPC driver, is right behind, and also they've got Vangen, Ander, and Goddesad trying to get past Nold around the outside at Weissteiner curve.
Yeah, they're so tightly packed together as they're almost going mental as Goddesad going side by side of Nold. Nold on the outside, Goddesad onto the inside, side by side through the chicane. Goddesad's got the apex, they make contact, middle of the corner. Goddesad's into the grass.
Just didn't leave enough space to Goddesad there, did he? You kind of got that move half done. You've got to leave so much space because that chicane is so narrow, and he just didn't quite leave the car's width on the inside of the circuit. As there goes Vangen past Gurdiel as well. Wow, I wonder if it's Gurdiel with the worst damage because he is just dropping like a stone right now.
I think that might be for something else.
Maybe.
There might have been a second contact we did miss. This is Johansson looking for a send on Sheila, heading into turn 1. And he's nailed that move down right there. But Johansson might be getting a penalty as well as a championship leader. I think will not be having the championship lead after this race if it stays like so. Remember, 2 points separates them and Yanni right now leading into this round, and there are no drop scores whatsoever, as this is Hirsog and Hammer. Hammer on the inside, Hirsog onto the outside, and Hammer pulling it down towards the inside and making it work for 12th place.
Yeah, that was a good effort there from Hammer, who's back to, apologies, he's one place down from where he started. He's always sort of been around there. We haven't seen too much of him, but having a very good day. Will be one of the highest scoring Pro-Am drivers at the end of the evening. Rollerstad still trying to make his way through, so up 3 places from his very start, but he's going to have to go a long way around there, and that is not going to happen for him. By the way, anyone who is watching this and wondering how do we get these graphics up on screen, it's all done by SDK Gaming. If you go to sdk-gaming.co.uk, you can get these graphics along with many other fantastic templates for NASCAR, the old Formula 3.5 overlay. I think also we're going to have a WEC overlay. I think it's also sort of already part constructed, and so many more. And of course you can also use this as a live driver HUD and as live timing as well. So do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk as Gerdiel is round contact there with Vangen. They were battling with each other for a couple of laps right there, and now the Spaniard has to wait for the entire field to pass before he can rejoin the racing line.
How karma is it that when Sergio hit Wangan, Wangan falls from nearly the lead of the race down there, and when Wangan hits Sergio, Sergio falls out of the race as Mats Johansson is back in the pit lane, and today has gone from bad to even worse to absolutely atrocious. And I feel like this is just him just saying it's done. I'm out of here. I don't want to fight anymore. But Wangan taps Sergio mid-quarter, and Sergio just puts too much mustard down, because I thought they tapped it, it was fine, and then they went on to the power, and then Sergio went around. Yeah, it was like I say, it was a little bit of an unusual one. So just around that part of the track is just so tricky, isn't it, with the elevation change and with the high stress on the tires. As oh, these guys are still passing one another. Oh, they all came together. I was fearing for Isaac. Was a slowdown.
Squashed into one another as Isaacson does get past Donko. Those two have been nose to tail for the majority of today. I mean, for this entire race too, they have been. And here comes Moldovan, who's had so many problems, but still with a fairly clean car to fair as Moldovan. So if he can get past right here, I can see him kind of joining that pack for P14, but he has to hesitate a little bit whilst he waits behind our second place in the GT3 Trophy Championship, Isaacson.
Can we talk about how big of a big brain move that was by Isaacson? He forced Moldovan into a mistake, and we definitely saw him cut that course to pick up that slowdown. And unfortunately, the line wasn't as right for him to finish off the corner, because I think when Domko got that penalty, he noticed that and turned right in front of Isaacson, which was also right in front of everybody else. And, they all kind of came in together, but Isaacson forcing the mistake and able to get that place from that mistake, and that is top-tier racecraft right there. If you can't make the overtake, force the opponent into the mistake very cleanly, and that was a very clean overtake right there. Pearsall looking down towards the inside. It's J&A a nose onto the left side, but backing off right there, trying to force the mistake, get the better line off the exit. It looks like he does. The Racing Lab Esports car, Carl Herzog, diving down towards the inside as they go side by side, middle of the corner, and Herzog is definitely aligned for a good move on the 206 of Philip Hammer. But look at Gardestad. Gardestad's back there. He could go for a 3-wide move. Gardestad looking down towards the inside. He is going for that 3-wide move. Side by side by side. Gardestad backing out the corner. Herzog is wild on the brakes. Herzog is in the gravel.
Oh, he knew that he was going to hit the driver ahead of them, and so he just had to bail out of it. You knew he was going to hit Alzagari, so he let out of the brakes. Probably the smart thing to do, but he's lost a lot of time. There goes the dive. That was lovely stuff there from Gardestad, getting the cutback. He stops it on a dime on the apex. That will feel very nice for him. You'd love to see sort of a dummy-esque move like that, as we have Nold versus Vangen. And Vangen, oh, Nold's off the circuit. He managed to get onto the grass, and that's the first time we've really seen someone get onto that piece of grass so far tonight. And Nold gets drops down to 9th position, still up 7th place on the side. Being a great drive from Nold. And that's a shame that that's been undone a little bit. Vangen now leader of the Pro-Ams, but Maya, after that big slowdown, I think on lap 1 of the race, has been much faster so far in this race. He's going to go to the outside. He's got a little bit less aero damage as well, but I think this is a very low percentage move, and he knows it. He gets the cut back in and will wait for better opportunities.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, especially in racing, and especially if it pays off right there, because there's a slowdown penalty for Wangan. I don't believe it. I don't
He's going to
believe
drop
that.
further back as well. Here comes Noel. So Noel's going to get back past. Maybe Alzugari. I mean, this is not when you want a slowdown because there's so many close drivers right behind you. It could be really bad news for him as Bang & Boy just slots in behind these couple of drivers. Yeah, behind Noel, but ahead of Alzugari. Meanwhile, Lang is battling with Yatortas. And look at Key as well. He spun on that one around this corner. And he's right back into the mix.
Yeah, Key's back there in 15th. He's looking for a good old scrap right here. And he's looking for another spot. You know, you see two cars going side by side, and you go for that inside line and get the better exit right there, which is what Glenn Clean's going to go. Big snap of oversteer, so that kind of ruined his attack chance right there. And he wanted to go for the attack, as that is Leontes wild on the brakes. It misses the corner completely.
It's odd that you see that type of incident a couple of times where a driver knows that they're not going to make the corner. They know that if they try to make the corner, they're going to hit the other driver, and so they just bail out of it.
Is that the fourth time that you've seen that today?
Well, it's certainly the second time we've seen it in about 2 minutes.
In this race?
Yeah.
The second time in this race, and I think it's happened multiple times in race number 1. Is the teammates of the RPC team going side by side. Gardestad on Wang and Gardestad down towards the inside, getting 2 wheels up into the air and able to make that move for 10th place. Right now, as we close in on 5 laps to go, Yarshell 2.5 seconds in the lead ahead of the fight for second place between Penn and Michael Yanni. And Michael Yanni's car, I'm going to be honest, looks like a Terminator right now.
Yeah.
He has gone through hell and back to get on to this podium, and he wants a little bit more.
Great pace from Penn, though, because he was nowhere really in qualifying or race 1. But he's really upped his pace because, I mean, I know Josh is now 2.6 seconds ahead, but, I mean, we're on lap 11. So, and he spent 8 of them behind Josh. So, he hasn't had too bad paces, Penn. So, good to see him have a bit of an upturn. Hopefully, he can carry that into Imola next time out. And I'm not sure if Yanni's going to be able to make this move on. So, he hasn't really made much of an impression. I think Lona is the faster one of these 3. Even Christiansen actually closed in on them a fair amount on that last lap. So I feel like there might be a bit of a train behind Penn now to the end of the race, because I don't think Yanni's got the pace to beat past Penn. And I don't think Lona's got the pace to pass Yanni either. So this might be how it ends for the final 5 laps.
Sam, I'm disappointed in your confidence.
I've got confidence in my fellow British driver. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, he's still British, though. He's still British. Well, he's up in second place, so he's British right now.
I don't understand this favoritism.
No, I can explain it to you. I can explain it to you afterwards how it works. But it comes.
The Scottish driver in second place is under pressure from Yanni, because I believe Yanni does have the pace. 2/10 faster than Leon Penn last lap, so the Scottish driver under pressure from the American.
Oh, well, who was that off the circuit? Was that Isaacson? Yeah, Isaacson off. Oh, there goes the move there for Wang, and he's up into 10th position like he finished in race 1. Oh, he's missed the corner again. That's Key that time. He's missed the corner.
Okay, well, that's 3 so far this race. Glenn Key, well, it's also his 3rd incident as well. 3rd major incident. We saw him have that incident at turn 2 on lap 1. Turn 4 on, I think, lap 4. It's just, yeah, it was Isaacson going for a little bit of rallycross. The rallycross circuit is on the other side of the GP circuit, as it's just taking the Nürburgring exit.
Yeah, practicing for the 24 hours, albeit I think there's more challenging elements to the Nordschleife than that's 10 meters of tarmac. Alzugari ahead of Hammer. And yeah, of course, Vangen up into 10th place. So that was Vangen getting past Alzugari then. He's still up 2 places from his race start. Hammer is very close behind. Could he go for a dive here? No, he just stays behind his fellow Pro-Am driver. Just a reminder of the classes. Jarshell, leader of the Pros. Maya, leader of the Pro-Ams. And Koopmans, once again, leader of the Ams. Donke is also having a good run. So they had that slowdown earlier on. He's not that far behind Koopmans so far. He's had a bit of a quiet race 2. Everything's been going on around him, but he's managed to keep that car clean as the Dutch driver. And yeah, he runs in 15th place. Good lap time as well there in the 28th spot. A few of the drivers around him in the 29s, as Yanni is closer than ever to Leon Penn, the British driver.
Scottish.
honestly, yeah, I mean, also this is not a good time to have this argument with everything that's going on. So, again, I will explain later on.
The entire YouTube chat is against you right now, by the way.
Yeah, a few of the our Scottish friends in the YouTube chat clearly trying to claim him for themselves. And it's, yeah, 0.3 of a second they get right now. Yanni, I think with that lack of straight line speed, that might be the decisive factor here, Austin.
And under pressure by Michael Yanni. Yanni not going very aggressive into the chicane. He's looking for the move that he can definitely go for and just getting that pace right onto the bumper. And Yanni is definitely sniffing for that move right now as they head out of that final corner. Penn defending down towards the inside from the American, the Scottish driver, under pressure right there. Though I say Scottish driver, there's a Union Jack on the side of his car, but that is a send by Yanni. Yanni for second place. Michael Yanni with a send on the Scottish driver. And, oh, Scottish Leon Penn putting in a block right there on Moritz Lahner with 2 laps to go.
And Lona would have had hopes as well to finish in P2. I think that's over now. I don't think he's going to try to rush past Penn too much in pursuit of Yanni. You know, so if you can just get a podium out of this, then that would be a solid result. It's going to score more points than anyone else, I believe, for Lona. Yeah, of course, because the point system. A few less points available for race 2 because it is only 2/3 the distance of race 1, and you have that reverse grid, of course, as well. So, of course, Penn will have the job now from Yanni, and actually might get fairly close to him heading into the chicane if that, you know, area damage is costing Yanni a little bit. Of course, this is open setup, so the drivers may have different setups in the first place. And so far, at least, Penn is completely safe from behind. And he could go for a dive, albeit I imagine Penn will feel like he could finish runner-up in this championship. He came into this round 4th place in the championship. Johansson having an absolute mare. Christiansen behind him right now on circuit. We might have a pure Sims Esports driver in the top 2 if it ends like this. However, Lona, yeah, still not quite close enough. Penn's driving really well in this race too. He's
going to have to get very, very, very brave right here. This might help him right there. He sees Yanni defending on the inside. Big send by Lauder to get alongside of Penn. They make contact. Mid-corner, Lauder got sideways a little bit. They're still bumping and banging mid-corner now. Penn and the Mercedes Arena is going to be down towards the inside as Lauder's going to be onto the outside right there. They're still side by side. As they head into the next corner, it's going to be Penn having that inside line and able to stay ahead of Lauder, but Lauder really got it brave right there to go for the move on Leon Penn. We got another corner right now. Is Lauder going to go diving for that airpin? Yes, he is. Just selling a fake. Not going to have the opportunity to really send one to slot in down towards that inside line. Penn and Lauder are going at it for that final podium spot here at Nürburgring.
Absolutely brilliant defense. Oh, but that's very slow there. Is that a slowdown for Penn, or has he just made a slight mistake there? And he's now on the outside line. This could all go away from Penn right at the end. He'd love to get a podium, but he still stays ahead. Seemingly very good straight line speed in that Porsche. He's got to cover the inside heading into the chicane though, if he is going to take this position.
Brave move by Lauder.
He's looking to the inside liner, but he realizes that it's too much of a risk. He doesn't quite nail the chicane either. Out in the lead, his teammate, Joshua, is going to take arguably the race win that he should have taken in race 1. Here he comes to Door Esports, make it a 1-2, and that's now 4 races on the bounce for that team. Absolutely epic stuff. Yanni with one hand on the trophy now in 2nd place. Penn does beat Lona and to a very well-deserved podium position. Christiansen beats his teammates of Strom. Meyer top of the Plurams once again, and it will be Koopmans, who dropped a few places near the end, actually, did Koopmans, down into 18th position, but he's still ahead of Domko, and it looks like he will take home that amateur race victory. It's a double for him this evening.
Nicholas Nolte very happy about that. I can tell you why. He was pulling off some amazing moves. Up 8 spots between him and Gotterstad as they're moving up through the field and having a grand old time after a very unfortunate race number 1, but they are both going to be very happy about this race number 2 right here, as a Sim Racing Norway team is going to be 1, 2, and 3 across the line, and a very solid race for all of them.
A little bit of damage on one of them, but the other 2 looked fairly clean. And Empringham, once again, just a bit behind. A few more retirees that time. It was just Johansson in the first race. That time, Isaacson, well, Isaacson had that spin, didn't he? Went onto the Nordschleife cut through bit.
He's been having a big a few weird incidents.
It's unlucky as well. He was actually 4 laps down. If he'd done one more lap, he would have scored points. So I don't think Isaacson's going to be too upset. Remember, Isaacson is going for the ARA GT3 Trophy Championship. So if he could transfer his points from this championship to that championship, I'm sure he would be happy with that. So I don't think he's going to be too upset.
I don't think he could do that.
No, well, no, that's not a thing. For the driver ratings, though, it makes a difference. I don't know. I don't think he cares too much about that either.
Well, here's your race 2 results. Tim Marshall takes the win here in race number 2 ahead of Michael Yanni. Leon Penn and Moritz Launer battling out to the line. I think they're still battling out there on the track, as neither of them wants to really end out this race, because that was a fantastic fight for third. Penn wins, gets onto that podium. Launer in 4th place. I think this is Launer's lowest finish, honestly. Followed by Christensen, Strom, Meyer, Nold, Gardestedt, and Thomas Wangen. Joshua Agzari and Philip Hammer, followed by Lucas Lang. Glenn Key, Bodan Madovan, Noah Chila, Carl Frederick Hersau. Koopmans takes the sweep of the AMS race. 2 races in a row. They take the win, race 1 and race 2, ahead of Luka Domko, Sergio Guridel, and Victor Taras, followed by Harold Yatues, Simon Menokiev, Kim Andre Borkelund, Ryan Epringham, Gordon Hogg, Niels Eric Isaacson, and Mads Johansson at the end of the 28-car grid. Well, Sam, only one more round left, but before we do that, I believe you are standing by with one of our drivers.
Yeah, I will drag up Moritz Lohner, who joins us in the commentary box. Moritz, congratulations once again, our highest point scorer this evening. That's now, out of the 4 races you've done, or the 4 meetings you've done, you've been the highest scorer in 3 of them. You must be very pleased with how tonight went, and just with the pace that yourself and your teammate had.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good, especially the first race, getting the pole position and also being at the front. Tim had a really good start and went from P3 to P1 in the first lap. And it was quite hard to actually catch him and get past. But yeah, I eventually made it, and he had very strong pace. He was definitely faster than I was, but was able to win. And I mean, second race was really nice racing, but got a bit unlucky with the crash we had in turn 1. And from then it was difficult to progress any further, because I had quite the heavy damage on the front right of the car, no more top speed, so it was difficult to catch the cars in front. Had a little bit of a battle in the end, which was good, but was difficult to execute.
Yeah, Lewis has just been able to find that replay, and yeah, we see the damage that you picked. It looked like a big hit, and could have even been stone damage if it had been in a slightly different parts of the car. That race 1, it looks like, I was kind of saying how it looked like it was sparring between yourself and your teammate. Do you treat these races just as like a learning experience for the Saturday event, because it seemed like you were practicing all the places that you can overtake? I mean, where like the most logical places to attempt to move are?
Yeah, it's always a good way to practice how to defend and how to attack, where to defend, and because it's not an official race, it doesn't really hurt if you crash or whatever. Obviously, it still hurts because you're racing to win. But you can try some things if they work or not, which you wouldn't really try in official races, because you kind of want to be on the safe side there. So yeah, these races are really good to try out stuff, where to defend, where to attack, and everything. That's the way to go here.
Definitely. And how has your qualifying bid for the for PESC been going so far? I mean, have you got a decent chance of qualifying for the contenders?
Well, the first 2 I missed the very first race at Hockenheim, so I had a 0 point there. But Silverstone and what was after that? Silverstone
Watkins?
and Watkins.
Red Bull.
No, Red Bull Ring. Yeah, especially Red Bull Ring went really well. Scored some good points there, but Watkins, I was also on good point scoring positions in P8 or P7, I think. But then unfortunately got taken out. And those points are really missing now, because I probably won't be able to do the last race as well. So I really have to make it count this week at the Nürburgring. Trying my best, racing as much as I can to gain as much experience as I can, and then hopefully have a good result in the Saturday race.
Definitely. Well, yeah, it'd be great to see you in the Contender Series later on in the year, and maybe even Pesk as well next year. Sure, you'll be able to mix it with some of those drivers. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Tim for winning the second race. Really nice pace. Maybe I have to ask him for some coaching because I'm missing a 10th, I guess. But yeah, that's it. Nicolas also, I think, went really good through the race after starting from the pits. So shout out to those two doing the race or the league with me. And only thing I can say now is see you next week, I guess.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for making it 5, maybe even 6 wins in a row for your team. That would be insane.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Moritz Sloan there for Door Esports, your race winner in race 1 and your highest point scorer across the meeting. Also, thanks to everyone who's tuned in. We've got 66 viewers right now, so thanks for watching that race too. It was certainly an action-packed one. Quick shout out to another one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School, who offer 50+ data packs for road and oval racing. Those data packs including setups, track guides, their fantastic data analysis software, and also one-on-one coaching. So do check out Virtual Racing School if you want to get faster in this car or loads and loads of other cars as well on the iRacing simulator. Austin, who are you gonna bring up next?
Well, I am standing by with our Pro-Am Championship leader, Anders Meyer, who, well, in race number 1 was in his highest position ever in a race number 1, finishing, well, up into second place, and I believe finishing up there in second in race number 1. He finished 7th in race number 2. But, Anders, how are you feeling after today?
A bit of mixed feelings, actually. I finished 4th in the first race because I got that slowdown. That's why.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the reason for the mixed feelings, because the results are really good, but it's 2 rookie mistakes that I do the same in lap 1 in race 2 and drop down to, I think it was 15th or something. So yeah, it's like Charles Leclerc said, I am stupid, but overall the results are good, so I can't be too mad about that.
Yeah, results are good. It's number 1 next to your name in both races on the Pro-Am standings, which is more points in your favor for that championship as we head into the final rounds. Around, well, I can actually say an actual track of Imola compared to the sprint track like we've had at Nürburgring. And speaking of the sprint track, how was it adjusting towards the sprint track nature of Nürburgring? I know it's just technically, it's just one corner that is completely different. It's cut out a lot of the other corners, but that hairpin, we saw a few incidents through that hairpin. Was that any difficult spots heading into there?
Yeah, definitely. I used a lot of time to learn this track compared to the others. It's weird. It's like I say, it's just one corner different, but the whole track feels different because of it. Because the rhythm you get into changes quite a lot, because the other part that is missing is really fast part of the track. So when you come into this slow section again, it kind of stops your motion going. So it's really different compared to the normal track, and Imola will be good. Like you say, it's finally a real track. So I hope we can be strong there as well.
Well, with your performance through the season, I believe you will be really strong. You've been running up there at the pros that time, and honestly, I feel like you just have the wrong color next to your name, and it should be red half the time, because you definitely had the pace up there. You've been doing some amazing driving throughout the season so far. It's been a very wonderful fights that we've been seeing you upon, and congrats on good finishes here today.
Thank you very much. It's been, it's like I said before, but officials is not something I've been a big fan of, so that's probably a reason why my skill level are probably higher than my rider rating. But there's still a lot of strong pro-am drivers, so I don't take anything for granted before I cross the finish line in race 2 at Imola.
All right, well, we'll see you next week, hopefully at the very top of the podium of the standings. Before I let you go, Anders, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, like always, my team members, Racing Lab, and of course KTM, CarX.no as well. I want to thank you guys for the broadcast, and thanks for organizers of this league. It's really fun to be part of this league, and I'll definitely come back for another Apex league later.
All right, it's always fun to have you in the booth and out there on track, Anders. Thanks for giving us the time to talk to you.
Thank you.
Well, Sam, I believe we have Thomas waiting for you.
We sure do. Thomas Bangen now joins us in the commentary box. Mr. P10 this evening because he managed to finish in P10 in both race 1 and race 2. Decent points haul tonight. Thomas, good for your team as well. So yeah, how was that race 1? Because it seemed like you were a little bit by yourself on the most part. So you were, just putting in laps around this circuit.
Yeah, race 1 was basically on my own. All alone around the track, just cruising around. Try to learn the track. I don't feel I have the speed on this one, so tried to secure a reversed grid. Then we come to race 2, and I felt the pro guys was hammering my ass all around, so they were very aggressive. So yeah, I don't have any words. Okay, we managed to get all the cars in top 10, so happy for RPC. It's good.
Absolutely. I mean, that race 2 start looked absolutely insane because I think you got a fairly good launch, but I think Leon behind you was just absolutely like stunning off the line. I mean, how does it feel when you're on pole position in that scenario when you got so many quick guys? Is it a bit more nervous than say if you felt like you were like the fastest driver out on circuit, or is it a bit more nervous when you know that you got some pro level drivers sitting right behind you?
I'm always nervous every time I go on grid. I'm nervous. When I'm nervous, it's good. Then I'm 110% prepared. Launch is okay. We managed to get in front of 155 from P2. Leon is a respectful driver. He didn't launch too much. He don't stress me in a couple of first laps on the cold tires. So yeah, kudos to him. Was a clean race from him as well. But some of the other guys is very aggressive and tried to come in front very early and almost push their way through. So that's my view of things. Yep. So yep.
And next up, we head to Imola. Maybe, well, for once, it's a full layout of a circuit. I mean, there's no cut-throughs or anything. Are you looking forward to that circuit?
Of course, always looking for a full circuit. But yeah, this one is good as well. But next week will be epic. Everything on the line. Team championship, everything. So we really need to put our hours down and practice for that one. I think we still lead Roger and Kim and Jovega are still leading the team championship for RPC. But I don't know how much. I think their esport is very close. So we will take a look at that one and sharpen up the elbows to next time.
Yeah, of course, Dor had a very good points haul tonight, but yeah, I'm fairly sure RPC will be the top team going into the next round. Walk Racing, I think, were the next up, and they didn't have a very good evening tonight. So yeah, it should be looking good for you guys, and yeah, hopefully the number 2 team. Well, you're the only driver in the number 2 team. I've just seen that.
Only me. So yeah, only my scores. So yeah, we did decide to do that this season. We are 4 drivers, and we are prepared for some national championship this fall. So it will be very interesting to see what pace we're gonna get until then.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, good preparation certainly right now for that championship. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Thomas?
Of course, always you guys make this happen every week, every time. My team, RPC Esports, and my wife, my kids. I can use so much hours in the of those 24 hours in the thanks to my wife and my kids I can sit here and practice in my rig all day long.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Thomas, and hopefully you can end the season on a high next week.
Thank you. Hope so.
Thomas Vangen there, your P10 finisher in race 1, P10 in race 2, but well, race 1 was a little bit dull, but race 2 for Thomas, I think he was really in the middle of the action. Also, another really good race. I'm pleased actually how raceable this circuit was. I think Saturday should be a good event with Pesk because you know, you can overtake around this circuit seemingly, particularly that turn 1. If you're not covering off the inside, you know that a driver's going to go for a lunge if they can.
Yeah, it was a very big surprise when we head into here on how much racing we saw today, but with this field, you shouldn't be surprised knowing it. They will go at it no matter where we race at. You can put them around centrifugal circuit, they would still be having the race of dreams. But yeah, Imola next week, and I'm, like a lot of drivers, are very excited for it.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's certainly my favourite circuit on the calendar. Maybe not as raceable as this one. I don't know. I mean, it's similar width to be fair, but some of those chicanes are going to be tricky in any car. Let's lay these Porsche Cup 992 machines. Of course, you can catch that race next week, the season finale, on Apex Racing TV. There are plenty of other streams that are going on Apex Racing TV over the next few days. We have got the Radical Racing Challenge on Friday evening. We've got 3.5s, the official series, on Saturday evening. I think Finding Speed, apologies, Finding Speed may not be this week. It might be the week after, not 100% sure. But we've also got Spec Racer Ford, IGP
it is
Fun,
this weekend.
Vic Motec. Oh, it is this weekend, there you go, on Saturday. IGP Fun, Spec Racer Ford, Vic Motec, and also ARA GT3 Trophy heading to the final couple of rounds of that as well. That's on Tuesday evenings, apologies. So yeah, do make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and also check out our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we are constantly posting little highlight videos in sim footage of some of the best moments of each of these Apex Racing League events. Also, check out apexracingleague.com because we have got a NASCAR championship. So if you want to take part in the ovals and you want to race on Sunday European evenings, do check out apexracingleague.com, where you can find more details for what should be a really cool championship. Already got a lot of entries in after just 24 hours of sign-ups being open. So for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Austin Knight, and from Lewis Ward, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back at Imola in 1 week's time for the season finale. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.